They're sociable, they have great memories, they're curious, problem-solving super animals.
But what makes dolphins so smart? Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today, we'll take a look at some of the things that make dolphins super smart.
We'll look at their brain size and structure, their encephalization quotient, how social intelligence may have given them an evolutionary advantage, and how much smarter than us they actually are. And there's lots more to it than just how big their brains are. First, let's look at brain size.
The bottlenose dolphin has one of the largest brains of any marine mammal.
Their brain is about 1,700 grams or 3 pounds. By comparison, the sperm whale, which is much larger, has a brain weight of about 8,000 grams or 17 pounds. That's almost 5 times heavier than the bottlenose dolphin's brain.
But when we adjust for body size, the bottlenose dolphin brain is still relatively large.
In fact, it's the third biggest relative to body size in the world, after the sperm whale and the human.
Another measure of brain size relative to body size is called the encephalization quotient, or EQ.
It's calculated by dividing the actual brain size by the expected brain size.
The expected brain size is what you would predict based on the animal as overall body size, because bigger animals generally have bigger brains. So a gorilla, for example, has a higher expected brain size than a mouse simply because it's bigger.
EQ is calculated by dividing the actual brain size by the expected brain size. Dolphins have an EQ of around 1.4. For comparison, humans have an EQ of around 2.0.
So humans have bigger brains relative to body size than dolphins do.
But that doesn't mean that dolphins aren't smart. Just because something isn't the smartest doesn't mean it's not smart. It's just smart in relation to its own evolutionary history.
Dolphins' brains have many of the characteristics of other highly intelligent animals like humans and great apes.
For example, there's a lot of folding going on.
The surface of the brain has deep grooves and ridges.
These increase the surface area of the brain without increasing its volume. Having more surface area allows for more neurons, which means more computing power. Scientists also compare the length of different brain regions between species. For example, the neocortex is the outer layer of the brain that's involved in reasoning and rational thought. A longer neocortex is associated with greater cognitive ability. When scientists compare the neocortex length of different species, they use total neocortex length for smaller animals like rodents and primates and surface area for larger animals like whales and elephants. Using total length for larger animals would give them an unfair advantage because of their larger brains. They would appear smarter simply because they have more tissue to work with. If you were to calculate neocortex length using total length instead of surface area, the bottlenose dolphin would be even smarter than humans.
In addition to having large, highly folded brains, dolphins have some other brain features that are associated with high intelligence.
Like humans, they have relatively large prefrontal cortices, which are involved in planning ahead, decision-making, and social behavior.
And like great apes, they have a high number of neurons. Neurons are the cells that carry messages between the brain and the rest of the body.
They allow us to move, think, and interact with our environment. Having more neurons means more connections and more potential for complex thought. It also means more processing power. With more neurons, you can send more messages at once. Dolphins have up to twice as many neurons as other similarly sized mammals. It's not just their brain size and structure that makes dolphins smart. It's also what they do with those big brains.
Scientists study dolphin intelligence by observing their behavior in the wild and in captivity. One way they assess intelligence is by looking at how animals solve problems. This is called the funneling effect. If a food reward is placed behind an obstacle, some animals will eventually figure out how to move the obstacle and get to the reward.
Other animals never figure it out. Dolphins are quick learners, and they excel at this type of task.
For example, in one experiment, a group of dolphins were placed in a tank with a barrier in the middle. There was a human on one side and a group of dummy seals on the other. The dolphins quickly figured out that the dummy seals weren't real and they didn't pose a threat.
After a few trials, the dolphins learn to swim through the barrier to get to the humans.
This shows the dolphins are able to solve problems and learn from their environment.
They're also very curious and they love to explore.
This curiosity may help them find new sources of food and avoid predators.
There are many anecdotal accounts of dolphins displaying intelligence and problem-solving abilities. For example, in one case, a female bottlenose dolphin named Luna used a sponge to protect her snout while she was foraging for food. She was observed collecting a sponge, putting it over her nose, and then searching the sea bottom for prey.
This is an example of using a tool, which is something that's typically associated with primates and birds.
But this wasn't just a one-off thing.
Scientists have observed other dolphins using sponges too.
In fact, some dolphins have been seen using sponges to lure fish and then eating them.
Other examples of dolphin intelligence include their ability to recognize themselves in the mirror, their play behavior, and their ability to develop affection towards their caretakers. In one experiment, a group of dolphins were placed in front of a mirror.
Some of the dolphins were able to recognize themselves, while others didn't.
This is a sign of high intelligence because it shows that the dolphins are self-aware.
Dolphins also engage in play behavior, which is another sign of intelligence. Play behavior is often thought to be a sign of cognitive ability because it involves problem solving and creativity.
For example, dolphins have been seen playing with balls, seaweed, and each other.
They've also been seen using objects as tools.
And they've been seen engaging in pretend play, such as pretending to be prey animals. This shows the dolphins are capable of complex thought and behavior. In addition to their natural intelligence, dolphins have also been shown to be highly trainable.
They can learn a wide range of behaviors, and they're often used in aquariums and research facilities.
Dolphins are so smart that they're actually used in the military. They're trained to detect mines, locate underwater objects, and help search for victims in the aftermath of a disaster. So what makes dolphins so smart?
Well, it's a combination of factors. They have large, complex brains that are well adapted for learning and problem solving. They live in highly stimulating environments, which promotes cognitive development.
And they're highly curious, which leads them to explore and learn about their surroundings. And if you want to know more about how smart they are compared to us, check out this video.
There's a reason why dolphins are often referred to as nature supermodels. They're beautiful, intelligent, and highly social creatures, but they're also endangered. Habitat destruction, climate change, and human encroachment are all contributing to the decline of dolphin populations worldwide. It is up to us to protect these amazing animals and ensure that they continue to grace our planet for generations to come.
Now, if you're a fan of dolphins, there's a good chance you've heard some incredible rescue stories.
There are plenty of videos online of people helping dolphins who got stranded or injured.
Some of the most famous cases involve bottlenose dolphins like this one. It seems like dolphins have a natural affinity for humans, and we have a natural affinity for them.
I mean, look at this guy. He's basically a dog. But when it comes to their intelligence, it's hard to say whether they're smarter than us.
We're both pretty good at some things and pretty bad at others. Maybe we should just celebrate the fact that we're both smart in different ways. We're both capable of some truly amazing things.
I mean, we built this whole channel just to share cool stuff about the world. So maybe we're both pretty smart after all.
Some people believe that dolphins are smarter than humans because they have better memories than us. Dolphins can remember individual humans for years, and they can recognize themselves in the mirror. They can also solve complex puzzles, and they have excellent spatial awareness.
Some people also believe that dolphins are smarter than humans because they're more social than us. Dolphins live in pods and they communicate with each other using a variety of sounds.
They can also form strong bonds with other animals, including humans.
However, dolphins are also capable of some pretty stupid things. They're known for being quite gullible, and they're often tricked by simple illusions. They also have a tendency to get into trouble by exploring areas that are dangerous to them.
Ultimately, it's impossible to say whether dolphins are smarter than humans. They're both highly intelligent in their own ways and capable of some pretty amazing things.
One thing's for sure though, dolphins are definitely smarter than your average pet.
And we're lucky to have them in our lives. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you want to learn more about dolphins, check out this video. Thanks for watching. See ya!